What is going on, guys? We're back on BF5 today playing with the P08 Carbine. This gun was just recently buffed in our most recent patch. Back when this gun first came out, it was a complete game-changing way of playing for the recon class. Where the recon class, you were stuck choosing between the bolt-action rifles and the self-loading rifles, which both of these guns don't really play too different from each other. They both have real high damage outputs with a slow rate of fire. Your choice was really between getting one-shot kills with the slowest rate of fire guns in the game to two-shot kills for the second slowest rate of fire guns in the game. So as you can see, there wasn't too much diversity for the recon class. You really more were just staying further back, using the accuracy and high damage outputs your rifles deliver to pick off enemy players. Until the P08 came around with a 360 rate of fire, it was much closer to some of the rate of fires that the assault class weapons have. It beats out guns like the Subsalter 1916, the Gewehr 43, and the recently added Carbine 1938M, and is on par with weapons such as the Moss 44, the Turner SMLE, and the Gewehr 1-5. It actually beats out all of those guns in a higher 33 round magazine as well. Just by pointing out those stats, it makes you feel like, why were you playing with even some of those rifles for the assault class to begin with? But because of that high rate of fire and large ammo capacity, to keep the gun balanced and really make it something polar opposite in the recon class, the damage output is not all that impressive. It loses out in all of the assault rifles I just mentioned and doesn't even come close to those one or two shot kill bolt action or self-loading rifles that were originally there for the recon class. Because of this, you really have to fire the P08 rapidly, using that rate of fire and high ammo capacity to put several shots onto enemy players, because it's going to need a few more extra shots to make up for that lack of damage. And even though compared to the recon rifles and some of the rifles from the assault class, its rate of fire does look impressive, when you compare it to the other half of those rifles, specifically in the assault rifle category, some of those rifles start to almost double in their rate of fire compared to the P08, with weapons like the M19OS, with its 770 rate of fire, blowing the P08's rate of fire out of the water. So you can imagine the struggle you'll have winning gunfights and close quarter battles with weapons with real high rate of fires, like anything in the medic submachine gun class and basically any of the light or medium machine guns for the support class. This forces you to use the one other advantage of this gun I haven't mentioned, and that's its accuracy. So you're staying further back, really rapidly firing this gun, battling players more in those mid to further range battles. Unfortunately, all that rapid firing really makes you feel the recoil for this gun, as is another negative when using this weapon. This gun was cool to first see it come out and mix things up a bit, but it definitely felt like it was missing something. You could definitely feel that recoil at times, and it was just a gun I felt more using when I was playing as an assault class style, but didn't want to give up that assault class rifle gameplay and really just wanted to use the recon gadgets. Well, with all that said, DICE has decided to buff this weapon by reducing its recoil and increasing its muzzle velocity. This was to make it more effective on the battlefield, especially where it's lacking the most. Like I said, you really did feel that recoil when firing this gun rapidly. Its increased muzzle velocity makes sense too, since one, there was no way in the specializations to improve that, and if you're battling players from further away who decide to actually move and run around, laying those shots on moving targets becomes much more difficult. So, has this buff improved this weapon substantially? Well, in my opinion, it's obviously made it a much better rifle. I personally felt a bit more comfortable using this weapon, controlling it a bit easier and hitting my targets as well. I do find though that you really do feel the low damage output, so you really need to have the mindset of firing this gun rapidly and getting the jump on an enemy player when battling them, because it feels like it takes forever at times to finish kills, and still you'll find yourself at times wondering why the guy you fired at several times is still alive. I found that if you really want to win battles consistently, you really need to land at least one headshot. It has good accuracy for a reason, so you don't want to just be body shotting enemy players, but want to land at least one headshot. This greatly will improve your chances from what I've experienced in winning battles consistently. Because unless you're battling players in that sweet spot between those mid to further range battles, and given the enemy players missing their shots or is completely distracted, you just body shotting them. Even if you end up winning the battle with all that firing you've done, you've just probably alerted every enemy player around where you're at, and probably will get shot and killed quickly after you finish that kill. So I still kind of feel like this is a weapon more for assault players who don't want to play off that semi-auto rifle gameplay style, but really want to utilize the recon class gadgets. Because really, when you think about it, there's guns like the M1A1 Carbine with 2 shots less in their magazine compared to the P08, but with a higher rate of fire and better control, and then just in my opinion, an all-around better gun than the P08 Carbine. And that's just with the M1A1. Like, there's a bunch of other rifles in the assault class category that I think is just way better than the P08. So really, you're going for the recon class gadgets. At least that's what I would be doing. For the recon class, though, it's a refreshing way to play. You have a much higher rate of fire weapon. You could even try equipping its hip firing, which is something I did a little bit, trying to mix up the specializations a bit, moving away from the all accuracy boost the specializations give with this gun and the improved movement with aim fire, which gives you an idea of the more aggressive gameplay style. So you could play a bit more hip firing. It's not, again, going to win you many battles, but if you're chasing an enemy player here and there who's unaware, it's a quick way to finish them off instead of having to aim down sights every time. I did try playing between the 1.25 and 2 times zoom more, as I felt the 3 times zoom was a bit too much for this gun, so swapping between the different zooms might also help you out a bit. As for me, I felt like the 1.25 was helping me out a bit more, but what do you guys think about the buff that came to the P08 Carbine? Feel free to let me know what you guys think, if it's good enough, or maybe if it needs a bit more of a buff in the future. Again, let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments down below, but that is it for you guys today. Again, I always appreciate you guys being here. I am Livin', and I'll catch you guys again later.